All right, welcome in to the Daily Fix every day right here at this 12 standard central, nope, 12 central standard time. That's how it goes. Every day right here, the Daily Fix with your host, Ron Hughley. That is I, presented by Foolish Club Media. As you see right there in that small box where he rightfully belongs is the beautiful Steve Serta. Hello, Steve.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Good on this New Year's Eve. All right. Everybody, whatever your drunk level is, get there. And you know what? Tonight on New Year's Eve, even take a step further. How about one step beyond your normal drunk level? That, of course, is unless you get 21st birthday, so maybe you stay right there. But whatever it is, feel good. You know what my favorite part of? You know what I do on New Year's, Serta, since I've gotten older? My move is now I like to watch Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper get extremely hammered and see them in a way we never used to see them on CNN. And my favorite thing, and this is a bucket list thing for me, Steve, is when they sing Frank Sinatra, New York in Times Square. I want to do that. That is a bucket list move for me. Now, I don't think Courtney's into it, but it's a bucket list move for me is to be able to dun, 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 start spreading the news. That is my dream. Nothing like New Year's Eve in Times Square in the Belmont Stakes that does me in for Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. So that is what I'm amped about as I get blasted tonight for that. That's my favorite.
I'm actually going to be traveling to New York later this week for the weekend.
Yeah, wow. But you're late.
Gonna be staying in Times Square, but I'm gonna miss all the New Year's celebrations.
God. I'm serious. I'm willing to give it 15 hours to just stand out there and get a spot so I can have that moment. All right. However you're taking this in, we appreciate it. One thing I do need you to do with also liking, sharing, let people know about the Daily Fix and Foolish Club Media is heading to our YouTube page, Foolish Club Media. Like and subscribe as we continue to try to grow this thing, get all the content from Brian's World to Veach season to Show and BK to the post game to all the things that we do here and all the things we are going to be doing. We're pushing out content and hopefully you give it a chance. Not going to hold you too long. Somebody who I think thought they was coming into this year and was going to make some money, they may not make that money. They may not make that money they thought they was going to make, or they're going to have to get retroactive and creative if they want to stay where they are, because their days could be numbered. Also, the number one thing for me, if I were to state, how do you think the Chiefs get derailed? This to me right now is the number one thing. We'll get to that. And let's start here. Give me my 2 minutes, Steve. The latest on some of these injuries in particular, to me, like Jalen Watson, is the big one we've all been watching. This, according to our friend Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride and all of his other 19 jobs that he has. Head coach Andy Reid says there is a chance that wide receiver McCole Hardman to return for the playoffs. Reid said a bigger stretch for cornerback Jalen Watson, but isn't completely ruling it out. And to me, the McCole Hardman, that's fine. Because I do need what's my man Nico? I need Nico. Nico is out here playing and returning punts like this is it. This is the only opportunity in life because he's not fair catching a damn one of them. And he is trying to take every last one of them back. And I just hope that doesn't backfire. But that's one part. The Jalen Watson thing is probably the one that's the bigger one, Steve. And I think the place that we are right now with Jalen Watson, the best part about this news, even as we said, Andy said it's a bigger stretch, but not ruling them out, is Steve is, doesn't it feel right now that Jalen Watson would be a luxury type of a thing? Hey, good. As opposed to a couple of weeks where Jalen Watson felt like an absolute need for this team to have back. whatever they've done, Joshua Williams has taken a step further. Najee Johnson hasn't sucked as bad as he has. Roland Wallace, whatever his name is, they found a better spot for Shamari Connor, which is, I guess, the injury list. But they've been able to do things to where Watson, who there was no injury return sort of like 2 months ago for the last couple months that I have not been paying attention to more than Jalen Watson, because it felt like he was a need. The best part about this is it now to me feels like much more of a luxury to get him back than an actual need.
I mean, I still think if there's a way they could get him back, he makes the overall defense better. But they have kind of cleaned things up in the secondary, in part because Trent McDuffie has been playing absolutely out of his mind. But then also, you're right, like not having Shamari Connor on the field seems to have been an improvement for the Chiefs defense.
That's terrible to say, but it is. I don't know. They found these other spots and places for these guys. And no, that has been big. But yes, Trent has played well. But no, Williams and Najee Johnson have played better too. Right? That's the big thing. Like that play that Joshua Williams made against Pittsburgh on the route down, I wouldn't have even thought he'd have been in position to make that play, because he seemed earlier in the year not to even be in the right spot. So yes, Jalen Watson, if you could get him back, would be huge. I'm just saying, weeks ago, I thought they're going to be in trouble if he don't get back. If they don't rush him back, they're going to be in trouble. And they haven't even used Steven Nelson yet, who I think is somebody that can help them. So that's why I said this feels much more as luxury than actual absolute need, as it felt probably 30 days ago. All right. But speaking of this area of the team, even with them playing better, to me right now, I'd say it has changed from a couple weeks ago. If you'd have said to me, all right, man, how are the Chiefs going to lose this thing? How are the Chiefs going to get derailed? How is the team going to jump up and get them? And I would have said, well, they're going to be able to protect him, right? They're not going to be able to protect Mahomes and the tackle situation or whatever. There's just going to be pressure. We're just going to get hit. There's going to be critical third downs, critical plays where he just doesn't have time to make plays. Well, it does seem like with the evolution of their quick game and with what Joe Tooney has been able to do. And I think Jawan Taylor has played better too. I mean, he just faced TJ Watt and he didn't give up any pressures. It feels like that is more solidified. To me, the one thing that has still been annoying and has been a problem here lately, even though this defense has improved in like the last 5 weeks, if you look at it, they have 4 or 5 games, it's the third down and long defense, sir. There are too many 3rd and 7s or longer that just get picked up, right? With Russ, I think they picked up four of them. I know Russ hit somebody on a 3rd and 15 where they got 17 yards because Najee Johnson was just playing off for some reason. They got a 3rd and he ran the ball and converted a 3rd and long. They had a couple of other 3rd and longs. Even though C.J. Stroud has struggled a little bit, they converted some long 3rd downs. That has still been an issue where it is too easy for teams to convert 3rd downs. And if you look at the one loss they have this year, it was, to me, the cornerstone, maybe the top reason why they lost is because Buffalo converted 7 or 8 3rd down and 7s or longer in that game. So still, to me, that has got to be the thing that they clean up big time. And the thing that makes me the most nervous right now about this football team going into the games that matter.
I think it's absolutely a problem. And I think something that's kind of helped mitigate the 3rd down issues is the fact that they're actually creating turnovers now, which when they played the Buffalo Bills, they weren't even creating turnovers.
And rushing the passer.
Yeah. And so all of that stuff has helped overcome those issues. But the third down thing still exists. It was still a problem, like you mentioned, against the Steelers. Like, it is an issue, and it is slightly concerning because in the playoffs, when you're playing the best teams in the NFL and everybody's in a do or die situation, like, yeah, you hope you can still create turnovers. You hope you can still overcome those mistakes. But when you absolutely need it, can the Chiefs defense get off the field? And they haven't been very good at it for a while now.
And that's the thing is, if you can hold up on the Chiefs' pressure, it doesn't matter if it's like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Especially if you're away from McDuffie, you got a pretty high percentage in being able to pick it up. And I mean, like 3rd and 17. Like, that's why the pressure is so big, and that's like the big change we've seen. But the times that they don't get there immediately, like the Texans picked up a 3rd and 13, and a lot of it just seems to be confusion on Tank Dell just ran an easy route just right up the field for like 17 yards before he was touched. So that to me has to get cleaned up a little bit better, because if a quarterback has, I don't know, man, 3 seconds? I mean, they got a chance. They got a chance to convert those things. All right. I'm watching Monday Night Football last night, and then just kind of looking at this year. Hey, Steve, I think Brock Purdy's days may be numbered unless he steps up and pulls hey, let me help the situation out, because the thought is he's going to get paid $50 or $60 million, and I think Kyle Shanahan is over my dead body doing that with Brock Purdy. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I think Brock Purdy is really hurt is, Steve, guys like Sam Darnold, guys like Baker Mayfield, guys like Jared Goff, guys like Geno Smith, guys like Russ Wilson, they have really screwed things up, because, Steve, we can now see that you can pick up ex-starters, and now, especially if you can coach like Kevin O'Connell can, if you can coach, hell, we saw Mike McDaniel, his Tua was this guy before he got to it. Like, if you can coach Ben Johnson, you got a chance to take these guys up to a level well enough where they can compete and not have to pay them all of that money, at least at the beginning. And I look at Kyle Shanahan, I think he's probably a better coach than almost all of those guys we named, and can work with the quarterbacks. We saw what he's done with Brock Purdy. We saw what he did with Jimmy G. And there are just too many guys out there that you could put with all of the talent that the 49ers have, and I could see them pulling off a Sam Darnold. Right? There are just guys out there. You may laugh at some of these names, Serta, but we would laugh at Sam Darnold. We would laugh at Geno Smith. We would have laughed at Baker to think that they would have pulled this off. Daniel Jones is out there. I think if Kyle Shanahan got his hands on Daniel Jones, I think we could see the best Daniel Jones. Justin Fields, I think we could see the best Justin Fields. Kenny Pickett, who started to look better with his little hands and that glove this past week, in the past 2 weeks. I think you could see the best out of him. Zach Wilson. There are talented guys out there that aren't going to cost $60 million that I think Kyle Shanahan has to look at himself and say, man, damn, right? Like right now, I bet Kyle wish maybe if you say, Kyle, you'd like to have Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy, especially at the price, right? So I think Brock's days are numbered, just because we are seeing too many examples of the second level quarterback, or the guy who didn't work at first, to get with good coaching, and then they work again.
Yeah, and it's kind of different in today's NFL, where these young quarterbacks don't get the same kind of leash that they used to, and that's why we're seeing so many guys move around the league now and then finding good situations and succeeding. Like Baker Mayfield's numbers are insane this season, but It's Purdy reminds me the most, I think, of Tua, where it's like he's a solid NFL starting quarterback with clear and easily definable physical limitations as a player. But he's in a good situation, and so he has managed to succeed in the situation that he's in. But he's not the kind of guy that's necessarily going to always put you over the top. Like if you put Brock Purdy on the New England Patriots, it's a disaster just like this season was. But at least
like
Drake
Mac
May,
Jones
you
was,
can, like at least Drake May, you can see the flashes of like athleticism and physical capability that could move them in the right direction. Purdy's not the kind of guy that elevates everyone around him and that can elevate a roster. He just simply doesn't have the athleticism. He simply doesn't have the arm. Like he's just not that kind of player. It doesn't mean he's not a good NFL quarterback. He's just not an elite one. And you can see that when you watch him.
And the thing is with the 49ers, with their coaching staff and their players, sort of, they don't need that, right? But they don't need an elevator, right? Like he's gotten to the Super Bowl. It probably should have won at least one of them with Brock and Jimmy G, who aren't elevators. They got the talent. See, sort of, some people might hear this and think it's crazy. I think next year they can win their division with Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback. Justin Fields is their starting quarterback. If he got him got him all through training camps, all the way through, I think they could win, double-digit games with those guys at quarterback. And unless there's just a rash of injuries like they had this year. Brock better step up and say, you know what, man, I'll take that Baker Mayfield deal. I ain't gonna take 60. I take that 30. I take that, whatever. Or if I'm him, man, hey man, let me see what Justin Fields or Daniel Jones can do. They got the athleticism, they got legs, they can throw the football. I can make them better throwers. I can do it. Let's see what happens. I'm and Courtney.